So, in this video, you will learn 6 basic principles of storytelling. Imagine you're a giant on a land full of little dwarfs, and you can eat them, munch them, and crush them. Oh no. But maybe your world is up there, in the skies, in the middle of the trees. And you are a foreigner who has come to the chosen land. And you are going to make all those little creatures into big giants. So, the first principle, maybe you understood, it's using your imagination of figuring out the pictures in your mind to set the scene, of choosing the location and creating a frame. So, the second principle is essentially creating a frame for the story. So, our story happened in a land of small people, of small insects and ants, where a great giant has landed from the space. What's going to happen there? Yes, I know it sounds like the Gulliver in the land of the something. Yes, I know. But I don't mind. That's just a beautiful story that inspires centuries of great stories. So the third principle, number 3, is using different pacing in your stories, making pauses, not like that, being still, and using comedy, humor, being proactive. Sometimes you're just blurting out the words, but always when you're speaking a story, you are using your imagination and you are utilizing the aspect of the story as it happened to you. You are feeling it. So, how we can tell great stories? Number 4, we memorize them. Not by repeating the words, no, of course not. But by imagining the stories. As long as we try to tell a story word to word, we fail. But if we are able to live it through, like a child who is listening to a story, like long time ago, before there was nothing, there was a blacksmith's cottage in the middle of nothing, in the complete void. Oh, childish with the big eyes. Oh, what's going on? So that's the way how you memorize the story. And 5th principle, you have to process a lot of stories in your life. Read books, read them out loud, read them to the children, read them to the big people. Do a podcast that you are just reading in some books. And if you are afraid of the copyright things, then just pick books that are older than 100 years and you can read anything, like Little Prince, Le Petit Prince, something like that, by Saint-Exupéry. You can read it. No copyright infringement gonna happen to you. So hopefully you understand. And when you are telling your stories, then it's time to change the perspective. When you have done the story podcasts and then you get to the number 6, you personalize your story, you change the perspective, and your listener is captivated. And storytelling is not only about speaking, but it's about visuals. In the past, people used their imagination for the visuals, but nowadays we mostly use yes, you guessed it correctly. We use video screens. So how we captivate our audience with video? If you want to. But my opinion that the best speakers are those that you can just listen forever. Close your eyes and just listen. My wife is an amazing speaker. She has been reading 11 years to our son a book every evening, basically. That's a skill that she has learned, and she's so fluent in reading, and it's beautiful to listen to her. But she does not know. When I tell her, you are an amazing speaker and storyteller, and it's just sweet to listen to, she says, I don't believe. But she has got an amazing skill, and so you can do. So 6 plus 1, so 7 principle. Sorry. It's about rehearsing. And rehearsing is not by learning by heart, but by doing an action repeatedly. We learn to become a masters in it. So, enjoy the tops of the trees and see you soon. Here's my story. The blacksmith's cottage. Where nowhere, anywhere. There was the grandfather smithing. He had been smithing there since the beginning of the time, and he had been doing it for a very, very long time. And by the side of the cottage, there was sitting a little daredevil. But grandma never would let him in, because grandfather knew when the daredevil gets into the cottage, he will destroy it all. But one day, grandfather fell asleep, and the devil heard snoring. And he knew, grandfather is asleep. Maybe I can sneak in and peek what he has been doing there for eternity. So the daredevil goes, opens the door, and goes into the room. Grandfather is sleeping in one corner. In one corner, in the middle of the room, there's anvil. On the walls, there are swords and armors and great necklaces, rings and jewelry and dolls. And the devil looks and, what's so special about this place that grandfather never did not let me in? Then the devil sees there's a little fire that goes still burning. And there's a huge air blower. So he goes and picks the handle. Grandfather will never let me in again. I must try. What will happen? So he pulls the lever. And the whole room is full of little sparks of fire. And grandfather is like, And daredevil sees, grandfather is going to wake up. I must try once more, because he will never let me in again. And he pulls the lever again, even with more force. And now the coals are falling out from the fire, and grandfather is waking up. But as we all know, grandfather is very slow when he has been sleeping. So, who is in my blacksmith, in my forge? And he falls a little bit back asleep. So devil looks, grandfather is waking up. He will never let me in again. I must try it one more time. So he takes with his both of his hands and all the force and might he can. He pulls the lever, and suddenly the fire and the ghost, they pull out from the door to the endless void, and there devil and grandfather with all the coals and the and forged treasures of the smithery. And from that time on, we have stars and planets. We have beautiful night sky. And all the people and beings who live in this universe. So this is the story of creation in our culture. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Let me know your stories in your culture. Goodbye.